Welcome back, Beans Army, to another episode of the Less is More Sports Podcast, the college offseason podcast. Matt isn't here, so I get to say this intro where we're less of the regular season, but more of the offseason. So we were picking out our names before the show, and of course, given the absolute work that Jonah Williams is putting in on the diamond for the Texas baseball team, of course, I had to throw in Jonah Williams greater than Bo Jackson. Now, Ryan, I don't know if he was copying me, but now he's new Bo Jackson. So the floor is yours. What's up with the name, bro?
So since this is a spring game podcast, there is someone on Ohio State's team who was a four-star running back, and his name is actually Bo Jackson, and it's spelled the exact same, but he's a four-star running back out of the state of Ohio, now at Ohio State, and his full name is Bo Lamar Jackson. He's destined to be great. I mean,
With a name like that, you better be good,
yeah,
or that you're
I mean,
just a
you have to be good.
disappointment.
But he's already made some noise in spring practice, so I'm excited to see what kind of reps he gets this year. But I mean, there's a new Bo Jackson in town. There's
Ohio State fans, get ready for Bo Lamar Jackson, the
yeah,
next big name in Columbus. But like
touchdown.
Ryan said, we are doing a spring game episode, and Matt was more than welcome to come on the show. But of course, we all know how he feels about spring games.
Yeah, I mean, we got the biggest hater of spring games on this podcast.
Matt is the certified spring game hater. Maybe it's because you would think, honestly, you would think Indiana had one of their best football seasons in a long time. You would think he'd be a little more excited about spring games.
Yeah,
Actually, to be fair, I don't know where he stands on like, kind of like with Duke, the countdown to craziness or, Big Blue Madness or whatever. I don't know where he stands on that for IU, so
when he used to be like a free agent when it comes to football, but now he has to like IU because they're good.
right. I mean, isn't he like the number one Coach Sig fan on this podcast?
Yes, 100%. I mean, like there is no competition.
I could have sworn like he was ready to fight Will Howard when Will Howard started doing like the little cigarette stomp.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Indiana fans were, but it was great to see in person.
Oh, I bet it was. And not to mention, we're going to talk about a lot of good stuff because Bean is even making an appearance. He's got to make his presence known. Do not lick me.
Welcome, Bean. Welcome to the podcast. He's taking Matt's place.
Yeah, Bean is joining us in Matt's absence. But anyways, like we said, we're going to officially get into the spring game portion of the podcast, and we got to start with Ryan telling us about what he saw from, or what he liked or disliked from both Ohio State and Louisville spring games. So Ryan, what you got?
Okay, so I'm gonna go first off with Ohio State because their spring game was a little easier to do for specific reasons. Um, this is the first time in 2 years that I haven't been to the spring game, and so I watched it on TV. I love going to the spring game, but to like specifically watch stuff I like doing it on TV just because like there's so many distractions actually being there on what to watch for. Start out with the quarterbacks, and this year we only had 40,000 at the spring game. We're used to like that 80,000. We're getting a little spoiled with ourselves, but this year quarterbacks, I didn't know what to expect because Julian Sand I've heard that he's been struggling in spring practices, just not consistency. Like he's shown really good days and really bad days, but he played really, really well and he was very accurate throwing the ball and making the right decisions, moving around the pocket. He played really, really well. I think it was a spring game like it was 2 weekends ago, maybe. Um, but he played really well, and Lincoln Keenholz also played really well. That's really the two quarterbacks that are in this race. Tavian St. Clair's a five-star freshman. He struggled in the first half throwing two early picks, but he bounced back really well in the second half, throwing a touchdown at the end of the game, throwing some really nice throws to some of the younger players, get them reps. But Julian Sam really stood out to me because he had a couple touchdown passes, over 180 yards thrown, I think, and was very accurate. Running backs can be very solid. I really like what I saw, especially from the young back Bo Jackson. He got a lot of reps. CJ Donaldson's a very powerful back, and so is James Peoples. So I like what I saw there. Wide receivers. It feels like they're getting even better every year. Like freshman Quincy Porter comes in, and he's going to do really well. And Mylan Graham was really the name to talk about in the spring game, not Jeremiah Smith, because he didn't. I mean, when you're a star of a team, you don't play a lot in the spring game. That's just how it is. But Mylan Graham really showed out, and he shows how he could be a wide receiver three, which sounds crazy. Him and Brandon Ennis could be fighting for that third spot. I liked what I saw from the offensive lineman with new offensive lineman coach Tyler Bowen. He They were moving around, which it's hard to tell offensive lineman, defensive lineman who's really playing well because that's just the battles you're battling in the spring game of seeing like what's bad and what's good. But I like the movement and the holes they were creating for the running backs, and the protection was really good. We might okay. This is new at Ohio State. All right, well, newer, I guess. We might have one of the best tight end rooms in the country now with adding Max Clare. And we're used to having solid blocking tight ends that could catch the ball. Max Clare is kind of a different animal because he is a very athletic tight end and he can catch any type of throw and very versatile, very good tight end. Transfer from Purdue. Really love him as an addition. So you not have only have to worry about the wide receivers, but you also got to worry about the tight ends. And as a whole defense, I thought it was solid. It's really hard to tell. It's a new match Patricia defense, but it's really hard to tell about a defense in the spring game because it's just the most basic defense. They're not going to throw out any blitz packages or anything. Like they were kind of like the offense was going through them, but like I wasn't really that worried about it because they were showing basic defense in Matt Patricia. So overall, really loved it. I know that took forever, but going Louisville spring game, they didn't really show anything. Like they didn't. It wasn't on TV or anything. They barely gave out any news. But like the players, I would say to watch out for. I'm liking Miller Moss in this Jeff Brom type of offense. I think he will really strive well. I think he did solid in the spring game from what I saw. Isaac Brown and Duke Watson will be one of the best running back duos in the country next year. Just their quickness and their quickness, speed, and cutting ability is going to be really, really good against and hard to guard against defenses. Hopefully, our offensive line is pretty good. And wide receiver Colin Lacey is going to be really good. I like him well, and he did well in the spring game, caught a touchdown pass. So, yeah, that is it. I know that was a lot for my two spring games, but um, I'm very excited with this spring and lots of good to see.
You put Bean to sleep.
I mean, hey, when you're going through position groups, it takes a while, but that was a lot of talking. Probably the most I've ever done on this show at once. But hey, Bean, time to wake up because Les is about to talk.
Yeah, he always got to wake up when Daddy starts talking. But I
Wait,
promise you, Bean, mine's gonna go a lot quicker than Ryan's. What?
with Daddy Shaq.
I, wow.
Throw back to when Les said that.
He's not gonna let that go, and I really don't blame him. That was a
Because like
quality fumble on
I know
my
you didn't
part.
even mean to say that. Like,
I don't know what inspired it, to be honest.
well, all right, well, your turn. Tell us about one spring game
I was
because
about to say, well, Texas, as we all know, did not have a spring game, but we're gonna get into that later. But Duke, all I'm going to say about Duke's spring game is that new Tulane transfer quarterback Darian Menza and then returning receiver Quashawn Brown, it's going to be a movie. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I need to say. ACC better watch out. The Blue Devils went 9-3 last year. Year two under Manny Diaz, they could cause some real problems.
yeah, we could ACC could. I'd like to see them elevate and just talking about ACC players. Does it feel like Kate Klubnik's been in college for like at least 6 years?
Well, I think that's what happens when players actually stay 4 years now, is that they seem like they
I
stick
know
around
it
forever.
really does because it does feel like a long time, and that's no it on him. I mean, I guess he has stayed 4 years. It just feels like forever. Just it's mainly because when you play a lot as a freshman, then you play a good amount as a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, he started all 4 years, I'm pretty sure. Or if he didn't start fully year one, he started like halfway through the season. And you know
Yeah,
what's really unfortunate is that Louisville, for the second year in a row, has not scheduled Duke.
I know. Well, no.
I mean, are y'all scared or what?
Oh yeah, you're talking about this past season because we played you before. Yeah, yeah. No. We-
We haven't. Okay, our football team
Hard not
hasn't
to
played
fear.
Louisville since Riley Leonard was on the team.
Yeah.
I should know. I was at that game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I didn't like the result, but yeah, I was there.
I like the result,
I bet you did. I mean,
but I do wish Louisville did televise their spring game. But I mean, it's everyone's doing it different now. It's just not the same. Which we will get into that later about the whole spring game talk. And you can't see me right now. Well, now you can.
now you see me, now you don't.
I didn't.
Kind of like what Krishan Brown is going to tell a lot of DBs.
Yeah.
No, you agreed with me. I like it.
No, I
Gotcha.
no, I was just agreeing just to get to the next stuff.
Fair.
Just kidding.
Fair,
I'm
but
just kidding.
hurtful, but fair. Anyways, yes, it's fine. It's time to finally get to the main portion of this show, and we're going to take some of the top narratives around the spring games in college football, and we're going to either buy or sell them. So obviously, if you buy it, you agree with it. You sell it, you disagree. The first narrative we're going to get into is that, much like my Texas Longhorns, a lot of teams opted out of a spring game because of potential tampering and this, that, and the other. So, do you think it is good, or do you think it is bad that more teams are starting to do this? So you buy the stock that more teams should do this, or sell the stock that more teams shouldn't do it?
No, I think they should sell it all the way. Sell it for the most you can because I do not agree with this. I personally, unlike Matt, I love spring games. Okay, spring games are a time for first you can play. You can get your young players that are going to be playing most of the year in front of a big crowd and fans, depending on how many fans show up, but like a big crowd playing in the stadium early in the year. It's an opportunity to see how they react, see how they play, because every day matters when you're fighting for a position. Um, it gives for an opportunity for the fans to see how the team is so far. I mean, for I don't know about me or I don't know about you all, but like I wish we could watch football all year. And so for us to give this long break and then a time to see our favorite team play, I love it. I can't wait. Like I look forward to it every single spring, and I miss it after it's gone. So it gives a time for the fans to see how the team is doing and some of the rising stars that have taken a leap over the off season and not only coaches. It gives the coaches a look at how the team will perform in a big stadium and in like a game day atmosphere. So I don't agree with people or teams getting rid of the spring game because I personally love it. It's a great tradition in college football, and I think that we should honestly keep it. And honestly, that the idea with Fran Brown and Coach um, and Deion Sanders doing a like a mutual or like a meetup type thing game, well, that would be a great idea. That's like basically how the NFL does it. And I actually thought about that like last year. Like, what if they did that? I think that would be a great idea. But no, definitely keep the spring game. I know people are doing it different. Like Michigan is, well, they're probably glad they didn't want to show their spring game or how bad team looking Bryce Underwood did. But uh,
Foreshadowing.
um, but Michigan's doing it where they played the spring game and then they're airing it like after the portal closes. But no, definitely keep the spring game. I'm selling that all the way.
I agree. I'm going to sell this like a bad stock. And the reason I say that is because I want to talk about this potential tampering that a lot of coaches are buying into. And my personal opinion, I think it's a bunch of bullshit because there's already tape on the guys that are going to play. So, like, your most important factors each team, like, we already have tape on them. So like if there was going to be tampering, it's not going to come from a spring game. And not to mention the only guys that could be tampered with are the guys that are so far on the depth chart that in today's day and age, they're going to hit the portal anyway. So I don't think a spring game is going to make a world of difference of whether teams are going to tamper or not. They're going to do it anyway. And a spring game is just one showing a year, kind of like a midway point between the previous season and the next season where fans actually just get to see what their team looks like months before the season starts, or at
Yeah.
least get somewhat of an idea. There's no, yeah, the tampering thing I don't buy for a second. So.
Yeah, and obviously, it gives the fans a first look, but there's not been a year which I've watched Ohio State spring game which they've looked very different going into the first game. Like there's big changes, and that gives you that gives the coaches an idea to see what their team's at now and see how much they can improve on to the first game. So we both sell that because that we want to keep spring games alive.
And I have a feeling I know where you're going with this next one, given the answer that you literally just gave. But buy or sell. Michigan is getting a lot of attention, and Bryce Underwood in particular, for the performance he had in his spring game. So, buy or sell that Michigan should fans should be worried about how the team's going to look this year.
Um, I'm going to I'm going to slight sell. Obviously, I'm an Ohio State fan. I don't agree fully because of literally what I just said. A team can change a lot going from the spring game to the first game. But I'm if I'm a Michigan fan, I'm not happy with his performance and the team's or the whole offense performance. The defense was fine, but from what I saw, and well, it's going to be aired like next week because I guess we're scared to play a spring game and show it. But his performance was not good at all, and he needed a trick play to add to his stats for a touchdown. But I'm not even. I know how good of a quarterback he is, and I'm not knocking him like right now. It's more on his teammates, or it, meaning like it's more on his weapons. Meaning, like his running backs are good. Justice Haynes is good, and Jordan Marshall are very good. Like the running back room will be very solid, and I don't think this might be a hot take, but I don't think that they will change their identity with having this athletic generational type quarterback coming in that can that has an arm. Like I don't think that their identity will change. I think they'll be still ground and pound, same old Michigan. But obviously Bryce Underwood can run too. But I don't think their receivers are that good. You know, they think that this Donovan McCulley will just come in and save their wide receivers. No, I don't. I think he needs better weapons on the outside, and there's still time to get someone in the portal or someone more. But he, I think he just needs better receivers, and I'm not very worried if I'm a Michigan fan, though. I wouldn't be worried.
I'm actually surprised we actually agree, and I also sell this like a bad stock because, in large part, because of our spring game episode last year, we did an episode and we talked about how bad Drew Aller looked in last year's spring game. And even though I still don't think he's a great quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, he was a lot better this year than what you would have saw from that spring game. So
Okay.
again, like the spring game, it's a good look at your team before the season starts, but it's not the end all be all. So I don't really put a whole lot of, you know, I don't put a whole lot of emphasis on how Bryce Underwood looked. I mean, he is a true freshman.
Yeah, he's gonna make freshman mistakes 100%.
Yes, and also I could turn around and also say maybe Michigan's defense is that good. You said you kind of made the point that Michigan's going to look similar to how they've looked. They're still going to be ground and pound. I could also turn around and say that they're still going to be a very good defensive team. They have been. They were a great defensive team the year they won the national championship. They were a great defensive team last year when they didn't even make the college football playoff. So it's just a bunch. Again, I don't make a whole lot out of it. So
Yeah.
we just got to talk about it because it's a big talking point. So I guess before we continue, I guess is Ryan sold on the idea that Bryce Underwood is Vince Young 2.0?
Uh, I don't think right now. I need to see like him actually play in a game. Like, I can't say that now, but we'll see after this year. I guess we'll see how he is and if he can be that generational type quarterback that they're saying.
I need to see him play in a big game because that's really what separates Vince
Yeah,
Young from everybody else in college football history is how he played in big games. But
I,
anyways,
I agree. Um, yeah, I agree. I don't know what I was gonna say.
You're killing me, Smalls. Anyways, going on to the next buy or sell. Florida is creating a lot of buzz right now from their spring game. So do you buy or sell the hype in Florida?
Yes, I do buy it slightly. Now they're looking really good with their young wide receivers are playing really well, like Dallas Wilson. He had over 100 yards and I think 2 touchdowns is what I saw. Their running backs, I'm blanking on their names. I have it right here. Hold on. Their running backs, Jaden Ball and Jacoby Jackson, are going to be very good this year for them Florida Gators. Um, and obviously, I'm sort of a fan of DJ Lagway. I think he can be really good running and throwing the ball. He has an absolute arm, and he was young last year and showed some really bright spurts. And I think this might be the one of the more important ways. They really came back and finished out the season well and saving Billy Napier's job, honestly. But, this isn't going to be easy. They do have a very tough schedule, which I do have right here. At LSU, at Miami, they have at home against Texas, at Texas A&M, at home against Florida, at Ole Miss, at home against Tennessee, and then at home against Florida State. We'll see how Florida State is this year, but they have. It's just I feel like it's a normal, typical SEC, but they have a very tough schedule and they will be battle tested. But I think that they can be really good with their young wide receivers, young players. Meaning DJ Lagway is still young, but he could ball out this year and be one of the best quarterbacks in the college football.
In the college football?
Yep,
Fair
in
enough.
the
That yeah, it would come from an Ohio State fan.
yep in the college football that the Ohio
Everything
State
is everything
fan
is the with these guys.
and the Jeremiah Smith.
And the Julian saying he should have an NIL with Funimation. That would be awesome. The fact that he doesn't right now
I
is
don't
kind
even
of
know what.
disappointing. Do you even know what that is? Funimation?
Uh, maybe
Maybe.
I don't
Have
know.
you ever watched Dragon Ball Z?
No, no.
That is
Wow.
wild.
It's just not.
Basically, they're the company that owns Dragon Ball Z and other animes.
Gotcha. But I don't even know who he has NIL deals with.
Well, I looked and Funimation was not one of them, and I was highly
Well, Howard
disappointed.
maybe have one of the best NIL videos
Which
with
one
it.
was that?
It was right after the national championship game. Is a little zesty. It was hilarious. Everyone, Ryan Day was like, "Thank God you did this after the national championship game because he would have been absolutely clowned."
If he played anywhere else, would you be saying it was good, or would you just be like, this dude is zesty?
Oh, it was Dr. Pepper. No, I would have said it was zesty, but I said it was good.
That's really zesty.
It is, but it was after the
What is
national
he
championship
chugging
game.
right there?
That's Dr. Pepper.
Bruh, this ain't beer. Like you can drink Dr. Pepper on camera.
That is the
Dog, it's the no, the zestiest part is literally where he's got his throat back and just like going to town on nothing there, dude. That is crazy.
I mean, he is
I mean,
the
to each his
national
own. To
champion,
to
though.
each his own, but that is zesty as hell.
Oh, it was, and all the comments are going crazy, making fun of him. But Howard, I mean, he just embraces it. He got the money for that.
Yeah, he's got yeah,
That's
and
all that
that's why
matters.
that's why we're talking about it and he's getting rich. So I figured.
Big get money
My
for it.
personal favorite was when Arch Manning signed the deal to be on the EA Sports college football game, and he's basically going over routes with Eli Manning, and then
Yeah,
he ends it
that was
with
great.
EA Sports. I'm in the game.
Yeah, because it honestly came out of nowhere, and everyone was just gonna be like, "Oh, Arch isn't in the game, of course." Blah 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 blah. But he was in the game, and I'm excited for the new game. But I don't. Did you answer? What's your thoughts on Florida buy or sell?
I was getting to it, and then we started talking about how zesty Will Howard looked in that NIL ad with Dr. Pepper.
Well, the floor is yours, Les.
I am gonna buy this like the hottest up and coming stock on the stock market because
So very quick, and then
yes, yeah, very
everyone
quickly.
gets it.
Yes, because Florida is the crazy part about all this is that Florida is creating this kind of buzz, and the most integral part of their offense next year, DJ Lagway, did not throw a single pass. Like they did this all without the most important player on that offense even throwing a pass. This is the type of Florida team, as we were talking about a couple years ago, Billy Napier could be out of a job. This is not only the team that could not only save his job, but change his entire outlook on his legacy altogether. So I'm going to buy the stock. I still think Texas is going to go to the swamp and beat him, but that's another story. But
Yeah.
no, they look
First,
really
they got to
good.
get the Ohio State though.
Oh, that ain't nothing.
Yeah, the shoe is nothing. It's
That ain't nothing.
just a cakewalk. Like,
I mean, I hear Daryl K. Royal is so much better than the shoe.
yeah, that's why it's not that. Yeah, that's why I only know your stadium barely, and that's why everyone knows the shoe more because it's the shoe. It's like it's the shoe.
An,
The
An Ohio State fan barely knows the Texas fan stadium.
well, I didn't know that. I didn't know the full name. I knew the abbreviations. I didn't know.
DKR Stadium.
Yeah, yeah. I just know about that. I don't know the Daryl K.
You just
Roy.
gonna disrespect one of the best coaches in franchise history?
No, but they should advertise it more like that. I feel like I only see DKR.
Or I mean, they also as of recent years they advertised the field, the Campbell Williams Field, named after our Heisman Trophy winning running backs Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams.
What you know about Safe Light Field? All right, that's in the shoe.
Yeah, I mean, I had to think about it for a second, so I can make the exact same point that you just made about DKR.
I think we should name it after like Dwayne Haskins Field. I think that'd be a great addition.
Well, maybe you should get your bread up and and donate some money and then tell them to.
Yeah,
Or actually, no, that kind of makes me look bad too. We could actually blow the podcast up and get rich, and then you could do whatever you want with your earnings.
name Ohio State's football field Dwayne Haskins Field.
Or Simba Field would be cool.
Simba Field.
Simba Field would be cool.
Simba Field would be a good one too. Yep, we're just throwing out ideas.
Well, we can do that because now we have the rest of the podcast to talk about whatever we want because we got through that spring game questionnaire just fine.
Mm-hmm. So, what's on your mind, Les?
A lot is on my mind. What specifically do you want to talk about? There's always a lot on my mind. My mind is like a black hole full of like random stuff. It's a scary place to be inside my head, honestly.
That's why I'm just not going to enter it. I stay away.
Anyways, well, the number one thing that's on my mind that is podcast concerning is that I just wish that the Duke basketball team, the players involved, wouldn't be taking so freaking long to make decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, the season's been over for what, almost about 2 weeks now, and we know Proctor, Con Knipple, and Cooper Flag are going pro. And so far, all we've heard is that Caleb Foster, and now today, as of today, Darren Harris is coming back. But it's like, okay, what about Isaiah Evans? What about Malik Brown? What about Patrick Ngamba? What about, I don't know. What about
See,
any of the others?
I was about to say the same thing um, about like how Case Price taking forever to announce, but he did literally just announce that he's come back to Louisville.
Since
So
we've been on the show,
yeah, so
gotta
well,
love when things happen as we've been on the show.
yeah, so he's back, and that took a while, and I'm glad Nate Ament thing is all over. So I
No, it
mean,
doesn't look like either one of us got an 8
no, no, and I'm pretty sure. Well, respect his decision. I think he made the worst choice out of the five, but hey,
I,
whatever.
I love how Rick Barnes has not coached Kevin Durant in almost 2 decades, but yet he's still using him as a recruiting pitch. It's like I had this
And he
generational
can't get
talent.
out of like the Sweet 16 or late Elite Eight. You know, it's
It,
crazy.
it's like, yeah, I coached this generational talent 20 years ago. So hey, come play for me. I mean, I'm not hating. If it works, it works. He got the recruit. I love how Tennessee fans are also like all over social media talking about, oh, we whiffed Duke here. Like, dude, we still have a better recruiting class than you. It's like, okay, y'all got Nate Mint, we got Cam Boozer. What are we talking about?
Yeah. I mean, and no one, if you've been on Twitter, No one's whiffed more than Kentucky has. So well,
I, I,
and
I don't know, Kentucky.
well,
Given the
they got good
video,
recruits, but they also whiffed. We also got more news, which is this is just annoying. Murad Watson has committed to Texas.
let's go. I was waiting on it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's just ridiculous because you have like five defensive lineman commits, and we're just trying to get one. So, but well, I mean, our
Well, what I'm
payback
hearing
will
is
be
we're
good.
gonna have the best defensive line in college football next year. Is what I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
you could, but whatever our offensive lineman absolutely swallows you, then you know
How you go?
what
Okay, how you gonna swallow Colin Simons,
it's
Trey
Simmons.
Moore? It's I've heard Simons.
It's either. I'm just joking.
I mean, it's not. It's one or the other. But
It's
I've
one.
always
We
hear
need Colin
Simons.
on here to tell us.
Yes, get Colin Simons or Simmons on the podcast, and he can tell you exactly. Also, what we need to get on here, if we're doing name pronunciations, we need to get Nico on here so we can finally get some clarification on like
I think
I've
it's Iamaliava, but
it's Iamali. Yeah,
or
I literally
I
have
am leaving Vols or something like that.
I am Aliva.
Yeah, I am Aliva. There was another one about like leaving Vols or something like that.
Okay, we're not getting sidetracked here, Ryan. How are you going to swallow up Colin Simons, Trey Moore, Ethan Burke, not to mention Watson that just committed? How are you going to swallow all them dudes up?
Well,
Whoa, I forgot. How are you going to swallow up Anthony Hill on the blitz?
well,
How are you going to swallow all them up? That's a lot of dudes. I
you
mean,
know what?
what are y'all Pac-Man
No,
now?
that was a joke about swallowing up, but I think that we could have good protection. I mean, we obviously got to have like a Travion pass blocking because his pass blocking was unbelievable. On how he was able to stop the X Man blitzing. So,
Bo
um,
Jackson's going to be blocking for his life.
Bo Jackson, he can block three dudes at once. I mean, with that name,
And
he
then go
has
on
to.
the and then go on the sideline and crack a bat over his head.
Oh, 100%. He can everything. But I mean, we'll just see. But that's ridiculous how you have three D linemen and we need one. What
Well, you got more than
we might get Bo Atkinson from North Carolina, which is
we
an edge rusher, but I
we
mean
got
that's
more than that.
fine.
We just got that many transfers as at the D
Yeah,
line.
yeah, I know. I'm talking about transfers, which is nuts.
Because I
But
mean, even the returning guys like Alex January, you got to factor them into the equation too.
yeah,
You don't
but
know nothing about
we're
Alex
missing a lot.
January
So
yet.
if we lost to Texas week 1, it wouldn't surprise me. But we got a long way to go and a lot of change to happen. So we will see how the defensive line and offensive line are.
So what I'm hearing is 2026 national championship Texas Longhorns book it is what I'm hearing.
No, because that's
No,
not at all
no,
what I said.
no. What?
That's not at all what I said. I said if we get beat
I,
the first game of the year.
I know not what you said, but that's what I got out of what you said.
Well, I don't know how you got that, but
I'm talking about Watson committing to Texas. That's what I got out of it.
well, if
Our
you
just
think you're
defensive line
winning
is
it
that
all,
good.
then if
And
you
I
think
mean,
you're winning it all,
you're
then you're winning it
not
all.
going to stop our offense. I'm sorry.
We will see. We will see.
We will. I'm enjoying this. It's a everybody is savage, so they face to face with one. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I mean that directed at me because I'm doing all this talking now, and we still have months before the
We
season even
have a
starts.
long
We have a
time.
long way to go. Yeah.
We have summer ball. We got early fall practices.
I just love how in the picture you keep like going back into the shadows and then coming back into the light. You know, Easter was this weekend.
It was.
Ryan is coming back into the light.
Mhm.
It's kind of tough when you go back and you make a point and you're like in the shadows.
Yeah, because it's like I'm hidden,
It's like you're
like
anonymous.
creepy. But I mean, it'll be a tough game. Uh, but I mean, this makes both teams look good that we're scheduling tough early in the
Hmm.
season. We're not
Agreed.
taking some easy routes.
Agreed. Not to switch sports, but I think that's what hurt Duke in the tournament. But that's beside the point.
But playing tough early.
It's like we played. That's the thing is that we played such a tough non-conference schedule, but then the ACC, with it being down this year, we went so many weeks not maybe being as battle tested as we could have been. And then when you go
Yeah,
into the tournament, you got to play back to back to back to back games. Against
yeah. I
guys.
blame the ACC.
Yeah, it's more the ACC just being down than any fault of Duke's, but
Yeah,
Because I mean, again, they played Kentucky, Kansas, Auburn, Illinois,
Arizona
all Arizona too, all in the non-conference. Yeah.
twice.
Well, yeah, well, Arizona in the
I
tournament,
mean,
but
how many times did you play Caleb Love? Good Lord.
a lot. Honestly, more than I would like to admit.
How many times did he beat you?
Honestly, we have a winning record against Caleb Love. He
100%.
no, he
One,
just has the moment that will just stick forever.
yeah. Yeah, he has that 3-point shot over Mark Williams, but you definitely have a winning record over him.
Yeah. We have a winning record against Elliot Cadeau too, who's also in the portal. That's why he's the most likable former Longhorn. The more I think about what you said on the podcast, the more you might be onto something. Jalen
Look,
Withers might be there too.
you definitely have a winning record over him, too.
Oh yeah, we swept him this year.
Yeah. Yeah, and at Louisville.
I was more or less talking about the stepping on the line early, but
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. That was, that sucked.
I know I've said this before on the podcast, but that's still my favorite moment was after the game. Con Knippel was like, "Yeah, I just told Pat to not do anything stupid like step on the line."
Yeah, and then his guy who, well, and I think I said this on when we were
About
talking about
Baycott.
that. Yeah, Baycott saying that he pushed him is like there was no push at all. But
No, like I've seen the clip 20 times. There's no push
yeah,
there.
there was no touching at
I
all.
think dude had a better chance of me pushing him from my couch in Louisville than Bean. Okay, Bean, are you ready for this podcast to be over? Because you are bugging me nonstop now.
But overall, spring games are great. Keep them, and there could be a lot of good teams and scary teams. I'm excited to, well, step one, the college football game to come out to really see, to scout out the players so far and see who's really good.
Hopefully Ryan can pay my EA account so that we could actually get online and play this year.
Yeah, hopefully, Les isn't Duck playing EA
I'm
college
just saying
football.
we may just have to pull up and play.
So, what happened last year?
No, something is going on with my EA account, so like I couldn't play online.
Hmm, that is tough.
That's what I'm saying. You might want to just send
You
me
didn't
some.
really miss out on anything playing like random people online because all they would choose. The amount of times that I played Alabama was outrageous. I mean, nobody.
Absolutely outrageous. But anyways,
It was.
before you close on that, I got to get this out of the way. Like and
Gotcha.
subscribe to Less is More Sports YouTube and Spotify channel to get the latest updates on new content we have coming out. Be sure to follow the social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Threads. That's at Less is More Sports. Be sure to follow the side quest on the TikTok channel. That's at BeansAt018. Now you can continue.
It's like you're a pro at that.
I've said it a time or two.
Yeah, but I don't know what the date is it's coming out. But that's our first look at all the teams and all the players and who's going to be dominant. There's no Quinshon Judkins spin move this year, so someone has to take that. And
But
there's
there
no, I probably won't be using Boise State now because